What we're going to be discussing today is providing an individualized special education using technology. Assistive technology that I'm familiar with is Chromebooks that students can use to type their documents on, as well as do research to help them be able to complete things quicker. Calculators for math class, tablets that can give them something fun to do to reinforce what they've learned in class, and LiveScribe, which is a pen that will record your voice as well as the notes that you write in real time, so that way a student can later listen to the lecture and see exactly where these notes were taken at. 3.5 years is the experience that I have in doing this, my degree area. I currently work at a high school where I work with special education students in the mathematics department. I know that there are lots of laws that I need to learn in order to do this job, from following IEPs to uh, being sure that I protect students' information, and making sure that teachers are giving those students the accommodations that they need in order to be successful in their classes. The hobbies that I currently have are basically just performing and writing music. It's something that is very important to me, as well as supporting my son in whatever he happens to be involved in at the time. He currently finished playing his first soccer season, and just Monday finished a kids marathon. Technology in the class is extremely important to me. I feel that it's something that students need in order to be competitive in the world. When a new technology comes out, it needs to be readily available to students so that way they don't fall behind. It's also a great way to have individualized lessons for students. The math book that we use is offered online, and it has an extension called Alex that students are able to take a test on, and then Alex builds them an individualized learning path for them to follow. So if you have students that are more advanced, then it moves them to that section to challenge them more, or if you have a student that's a little behind, it will reteach what they need to know. Uh, Technology is also a great way to present information in a new way that students haven't seen. Sometimes you can talk to a student and they just don't get it, but if you can show it to them, they can grasp that concept and understand it. Therefore, it is also a great reinforcement tool to not only show them the information that you have taught them, but just simply for them to be able to take what you have taught them and be able to implement it themselves. Deciding factors on using technology would be: one, does it make it easier for students? I don't want to give them something that's going to make it harder for them. I want them to have something that is going to be able to let them get more in depth into a topic, and therefore actually make the work easier for them, so that way they can get more in depth in the topic. Does it expose them to something that they might use in another class? There is an extension on Google Chrome called Speak It that you can highlight text, and then the extension will read it to you. It is very similar to what students are able to use on the STAR exam. And so I feel that that is something that is a great asset to them, to be able to use that before they actually go in to do the STAR. Is this going to be something that they can use in the future? That is also very important, because we have students that aren't going to go to college. And if I can give them technology that they can use once they leave high school, it just gives them a further step forward that they might not have had without that. The theory that I picked was cognitivism, um, which has to do with what a student knows and building on it. But I also chose constructivism, and that is getting a student hands-on. A lot of times, some people put those two together to make cognitive constructivism. In a way that you can use those as projects and research assignments. Get a student in there to really get their hands dirty. Teaching methods, I chose interactive lecture activities, such as building foldables that students can write their notes on. Peer-to-peer learning, sometimes a student just needs to hear it from another student before they can understand it. And also inquiry-based learning. School culture. If you have technology in your school, a student is more likely to have school pride. They have something that another student might not have. It also gives the student choices that they can make, while I, as a teacher, can still have control over the class. Oftentimes, you can there are programs out there that you can put on students' computers to where you can see what they're doing on their computer at any given time. And technology also, makes the kids more engaged. They're very technologically advanced. They're always on their phones, on Facebook, Twitter. So just allowing them to use that in school is just going to further their education. Google Classroom and Google Docs are great collaborative work. Two students can actually be working on the same document at the same time in Google Docs, and you can actually see what the other person is doing in it. And I think it is a great way for students to be able to work together. In my class, students will have an online journal that they will keep. It will let them maintain neat and organized notes, and then I will use that journal to let them fill out little index cards that they can actually use on their test. And here are the references that I used to make this presentation. Thank you very much.